Sandra, I understand that this movie was part of a deal with Fox. Can you
It
explain?
became a part of a deal with Fox. Yeah, I just, you know, they of course are a business, and when we were discussing Speed 2, which at that time seemed like a smart thing to do and fun thing to do that I wanted to do, I said, I have this small film that I love, but, you know, on the fence a little about Speed. And they said, well, look, if you do, you know, Speed 2, we promise you we'll greenlight this film, and which means to start it off and get it, you know, going. And I said, that's great. That to me made me sign on the dotted line, yeah. Well, it can mean many things because, as I've learned, a lot of producers are that just by title. To me, that means, because I've been producing small films and shorts, you know, with no money, but what it means is that you start from the beginning, your budget, how much are you going to allow, who are you going to hire, what crew do you hire, where do you make your concessions, which locations, where do you have your money shots, which are not the money shots, when you know, if you have an actor and he costs more than you expected, what do you know, it's all of that, script revisions, tonally, how are you going to tell the story, where do you want to set it, the house that you choose for the film, what's that going to be like, what director to choose, when to shoot it, and then in post-production it's a whole nother can of worms, you know, musically, the sound, tonally, you know, and you're dealing with 4 different people's opinions, and essentially it's a director's film. So you after you argue your point, you need to step back and say, you're not the director, he is, and that's who has the final say. So it's an amazing collaboration between some people that most people don't pay attention to because they're not the actor, but the crew is really the most exciting part. Sometimes it's not. A lot of times it's not. I mean, I think bankability just comes from what you did before. You could have done a horribly bad film that made a lot of money. You're bankable. You know, you could do a small indie film that became very successful. You're not bankable. But even if your performance was great, you know, what makes bankable sometimes is, unfortunately, just it's all semantics of money. So, I mean, I don't choose roles because they're going to be successful or bankable, obviously. I choose roles because at that time they work for me. And I would do it over again. And my career's sort of been this wild thing, but that's what I want. I didn't aspire to be, you know, on the covers of things. You know, that's part of publicity. You know, I aspire to do different things and challenge and make big mistakes, because every time I make a big mistake, something great comes out of that. So sometimes I'm bankable and sometimes I'm very not. I don't know what that says, because what was nice about this film is nobody is expecting anything. The studio said, we're proud of this. It's, you know, it's a small film. We're putting it out in the summer, which is, you know, either stupid or smart. You know, we wanted people to see it and people see it at a time when people are out of school, and has its own little message. We didn't have a huge budget. We had a good smaller budget, but it was solid. You know, we don't have to do a lot of business to make back our money. And when I heard that this morning, because I don't care. Because I care, but I don't, because there's nothing you can do about whether it makes money or not. And when I heard it, I just thought it was very surprising. You know, I was surprised. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I don't want to be happy, because that's not like, oh, yay, we're making money. It's just, I'm like, well, good. Maybe people get to see it, and I hope they like it. You know, that's what the only take I can have on it. It's just weird. I was a big pain in the ass in the whole process. And if you ask Linda Obst, my partner, she will tell you the same thing. I quit once. I kept preventing us from making it because it wasn't ready yet. And, you know, and when they said Harry Connick, I was like, what? No way. I mean, because I typecast him as who, you know, I hadn't seen a great body of his work, and who this character was that he played in the film was not who I knew him as a human being. And finally Forrest said, you know what, why don't you just see this guy, because he's great. And I was like, fine, whatever. And I read with him, and he blew me away. And I was wrong. And people are going to constantly remind me of how wrong I am, but I'm glad I was wrong, because I just did it because I was scared. I wanted to make the exact right decision, so I was going, who's the obvious choice for this? And nobody could have done it like him, and I wouldn't have had the chemistry with anyone else. I wouldn't have been moved by anyone else. We wouldn't have come up with the extra lines that we had by anybody else. And he's one of the funniest people I've ever met, and good, just a great human being. So if we had not cast him, it would have been the biggest mistake, biggest mistake.
And the little girl's amazing.
Oh my God, she makes me sick. She's so gifted, so gifted. She's one of the best acting partners I've had in a long time. And the key is always hire people that are better than you, that'll elevate you. And when those kids came in, she walked in that room, started talking. I didn't have to do anything anymore. She just made me. She made me mom. She made me do all these things. And so when we had these tough scenes to do, I could go to her and go, you know what, this is going to be a really hard scene. She goes, yeah, that's okay. She's a consummate professional, but she's a kid. She's not like a Hollywood child. She's a little kid who wants Beanie Babies and like little stuffed things, and it makes you want to be a mom and be playful with her. And she's just gifted. She's just incredibly gifted.